So, you suckers want to be an MMD animator, eh? You want to learn what it feels like to animate talking trains with faces? You want to know how it feels? You want to see what I go through? What I do to make these videos? Well, then you've come right to the right place. Greetings and salutations, my fellow YouTubers. It is I, Milan, as in the MILANTOONER, that fool who makes the talking trains with faces videos with the crossovers, welcoming you to my first of, I don't know, maybe one or two other workshop streams, pretty much. Like, I'm pretty much going to teach you guys the ropes of how I do these animations, what you gotta know, and what you need to do in terms of making these fantastical MMD animations. That way you can kind of get an idea of how to animate. So, and let's see how the crowd's doing. Good crowd so far. We've got like a good old Aaron Martin, the guy behind the Ask Tillie the Little Engine blog. We got Night Train yet again. Good old pal LJ, voice of Gordon in the Railways of Crotoonia. We've got, let's see what's good. Oh yeah, Swindon Sudrian, fellow partner in crime, Dual Express. Also another partner in crime in terms of the writing department, while Swindon takes care of the good old casting and a bit of the writing here and there too. Very good people. Good to see you all here. And Night Train had to go for a moment. So basically, as I've stated, oh, he sounded like a certain someone. I'll have to look him up at one point. But that's not our focus for this one. Our focus for this stream will be teaching you the ropes of how to do them talking train with like talking trains animations. I was held hostage to come here. Shit, my cover's been blown. You know my secrets. I gotta run. But in all seriousness, we better get started on this because I didn't know you guys want to learn about this kind of stuff. So first and foremost, you're obviously going to need the program to do these funny looking train videos. And if you've been hiding under a rock for the past couple of weeks, I use Miku Dance. Pretty much the latest programming right now. I think it's like version 9.27. You can get that at learnmmd.com. I'll link that in the description after the stream. In the description, though, we do have a couple of links to follow, because you're going to need this, plus you're going to need to download Effect, which is pretty much easy to download. Just look up, download MME Effect, and you get all the instructions on how to put that on. And you'll also need PMX Editor, which will help you fix the textures of like some of the models we're going over. I might try and go over that at one point. But first, in terms of stuff on the stream, I'm teaching you the basics of how these engines work. So to begin our little demonstration, let's pull up some track. Because you're going to need, the engine's got to run on track. Whoops, wrong button. We got to get to the camera. And now let's take out a train. I think we'll pick everyone's favorite, the one who apparently appears too much in his own show right in the title. Like, back then it would have been kind of understandable, like, in the early hit seasons, but now it's like he's not that shoehorned. What the heck? But anyways, what I'm showing you guys first is the basics. And if you pull this up on your first try, like after downloading and you're wondering, wait, why is House's textures missing? I will explain a bit. So basically, this is your character model, as you probably assumed by this point. And sorry if I'm stuttering a little bit, by the way. Just a bit of a slow start. These are what you call the bones. The bones of your model. Basically, they allow you to do your various functions that you wish to do with your trains, whether they be legal or not. So right here, we have a wheel bone. Like, a lot of them are manual, so you have to do this on your own, but for a lot of the newer ones, especially ones from Soda P, they're pretty much automatic, so you can speed them up however you wish, and we'll teach you how to work with that in a bit. Right here is your most important bone, your center bone. This allows you to move your model back and forth, left and right, whatever you want to do. And also rotate it. So you can just plunge him right through the ground, just fuse him with the track, or just do whatever. But we're not doing whatever. We're trying to get, characters in. So, like also alongside the center bone, also important to remember, there is another center bone if you want to do additional stuff. So if you want them moving and you want them to do them like kind of like nitrogen arrow stuff, that's how you do it. There's also like on some of the models I've been doing, we've also got an upper body bone, but this one doesn't have it. Right here is your eye bone. So you can move the eyes, and they've got their own bones, so you can make them all, goofy for them thumbnails that are going to give you enough ad revenue to get a pizza by the end of the month. That'll be great. Also, you'll be able to switch from local, which will be like pretty much how it is, like how it's positioned, or global, which pretty much means it goes on like a whole global axis. So that way you can pull the, oh, okay, I guess that's not working. Oh wait, no, it's kind of, oh wait, yeah, you gotta do it like this, and there you go. There you go. Now isn't that Picasso piece? Isn't that just perfect? But anyways, that's not the point here. And we got a bunch of other side bones that are a little important in terms of other stuff. Water tanks, good old-fashioned whistle, so you can put your smoke effects that we're going to show you later, and you can download in the description, by the way. And of course, bones for the couplings. It's some basic stuff. Mamma mia, that's a spicy meatball. Now, one of the first and most important things you're going to need to learn with MMD is registering your bones. Right here we got bone manipulation, so you can change it so you can rotate it manually like that. Wee, 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 wee. Or move it, but like this. Wee, 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 wee. Or something like that. Box select, I'm not sure. I'm actually not sure what box select is. I like it. But you get the idea, but what you're going to need to do to actually get your animations going is, also don't mind the thing with the track. It's kind of been a bit more prominent with the new computer. But basically, what you're going to need to know is registering bones. So let's say you want Thomas to move. So there you go. You moved him. But wait, what happens? Oh, no, he doesn't move. Oops. So what you're going to need to do is register your movement. So move him here. But right as you get him just in the position you want him to, you register it. And then a keyframe will pop up. Keyframes are pretty important in animation. Like MMD is kind of amateur software in terms of trying to learn animation, but it's a good starter pack pretty much. It's a good way of getting into things and like understanding the basics. So look, now he moves. Hallelujah! But wait, he needs his moves. He needs his move to move too. But in actuality, we also need them smexy wheels to move. So pretty much, you're going to take your wheel bone, which again is automatic. And then you're going to register another keyframe right where it ends. Keep it at 0, because we're about to show you why. Then at the halfway point where the wheels are moving, you're going to register some movement. But something you're going to want to keep in mind is this. Gotta watch how the wheels move, because otherwise it'll come, because you can't, like, let's go over it again just to show you, like, just to explain. So wheels are moving a little too fast. So there's a couple of techniques you can get around this. Obviously, the first one is slowing it down a little bit. See, that looks better. Like, that already looks a lot better. It's a lot more smoother and realistic. So let's show you again. Realistic friction. What you can also do, I guess, is also in the halfway point of the position, just to be on the safe side, see how it syncs up. And let's see how it syncs up. Okay, a little too fast. So it works best as a midpoint here. And that's basically what you need to know in terms of basic character movement and stuff. But, oh wait, I just realized something. Or we've all realized something. What about those that don't have the automatic bones? Well, let's bring in another guinea pig into here. So we're going to position the track right here. Now just remember, registering is a very important thing in animation, especially in this program. Also saving your work too. So, because like MMD does not save automatically, so it's pretty much like Photoshop. Save it or else lose your work forever. Well, maybe not forever, but like you get the idea. So for the regular bones, we're going to bring up Olwen, just to give you an idea. And this is one of the more dynamic models. Like whereas Thomas has facial features. Oh, that's actually something I got to bring up quickly before we talk about like the other wheel movements. There's also, like on Soda P's stuff, there's also various expressions you can use. So you can have them laughing. You can have that beautifully cheeky look. And let's see if I can find this content. Nope, that's not what I'm looking for, because I know what you guys are probably thinking. I'm going to bring up, if I could just find it. There we go. There's the O-face. But look, we can't exactly do the O-face. It's not working properly. Well, first of all, we got to get rid of the teeth. Next, we're going to see which positions it at. Position it is at. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to try and go at mouth 9 and see how that looks. A little too far ahead. Nope. Nope. Well, actually, no, there's still a little bit of black picking out here, so got to be careful. It's all about precision. Too small. Nope. Well, actually, now he's a mini. Look, now he has a mini stash, though. I'll probably use it for the thumbnail or something. You know, bring in the thumbnails with all them beautiful meme faces. There we go. So make sure you sync up the mouth as well as the face too. I mean, like the mouth with the face. Make sure you got the right face mouth shape with it. And also, if you don't want the black in there, if you don't want the teeth in there, just take it out with this. So now Thomas is like, what? What's going on? And now let's see how we can get Olwen's wheels to move. So we're going to set up her movement very similarly to Thomas. And now let's work with her wheels for a sec, because you got to do this all manually. Also, this is a good example of showing what the upper body is like. So sometimes the vertices, which are pretty much like the little corners of a model, are fitted to the upper bone, but for this one, it's just kind of simple, just for the pistons. So basically, you can go like, oh, do-do-do, I'm traveling down the tracks. Do-do-do, I'm traveling down the tracks. Woo-do-do-do. But anyways, one of the things you're gonna this is one of those things where mathematics count a little bit in terms of animation, because math, you don't need to know every single course of high school math for animation, but it is important to keep basics in like division, multiplication, etc. And as you saw in the work stream last week, we use quarters mostly. So we'll turn it at a negative 90-degree angle, and we'll see how it looks. Also, a good tip: turn off the if you want to follow the model, click on this little checkbox here, so you can actually see the model as it's moving. But if you want to see how the wheels are going and stuff like that, stuff like this, or just see how the model moves on its own, just uncheck it. As you can see, it's not exactly the best setup right now. Her wheels start off a little too early, so we're going to have to bring it back a bit. It's still a little too slow. Well, both too slow and also too far. All about a matter of precision. We'll go a little closer to see how it looks. Yep, still moves off a bit too early. No, we're gonna try something. It's not something I've tried yet, but it's worth a shot, I guess. I'm gonna try it at quarter turn, because actually another thing you're gonna need to know: the interpolation curve. That pretty much shows the start and stop, what's the term? No, it's kind of hard to explain. Pretty much how it starts off and stretches out. So here you can kind of see it's in the first quarter, you can see it starts off slow. But then there's a consistent motion between frames 15 and 45, and then around frame 45, it slows down again. So we're going to move the quarter frame of a quarter frame here. See how it looks. Well, it's not much, but you get the idea. I'll probably explain it later on a little bit in better detail. Just don't want to spend too much of the stream just working on train wheels after all. But I guess before we move on to effects and stuff, we can go over some other things you'll need to know in terms of the models, in terms of dynamics. So Olwen, much like regular MMD human models, has a few facial expressions of her own. So these are me and Soren, aka Tony Pilot, are still working on a lot of the facial expressions for some models, but we're getting there. Most of the character model, actually, to explain what other character models are facially, I'll have to bring up another one. Let's bring up the star of our last Meet the Crotoonians for this one, and then briefly put him away shortly after. So if you're wondering why the animation on Casey Jr.'s face was more like a paper cutout, well, it kind of was a paper cutout. Well, kind of paper cutouts. We use a paper cutout style for some of the characters' mouths, so pretty much each mouth shape is its own like plate, pretty much. So you can have a slightly open face, a happy face, like a happier face, wide open teeth, happy smiling teeth. Oh, whoops! And he just fused with Thomas. Yet another glory with MMD. The errors are hilarious most of the time. Register you so you don't sneak off like that again. And then you can get like a sad face, a halfway speech face, as I like to call it, like kind of like when you need like something in between, like a mouth going from like happy to sad or something. A O face, I guess. Pretty basic, like, and those are registered like with really basic techniques, like move it up here, like in the frame in front, and move this back. So it's like this. Woo! 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 So that's how that works. But back to Olwen. And we'll get her not quite so terrifying in terms of like eye appearance. We'll raise her eyes a bit. And there's 4 different compartments you're going to need to know for this stuff. There's other facial manipulations. There's mouth movement. So, I can speak, I suppose. You've got your eyebrows, so you can do woo, or crawling in my boiler. These wounds, they will not heal. Or just calm, just like I'm chilling. I'm just chilling. Oh, and you can also, let me see where I put it. Under somewhere. I believe I had it located around here. I swore I had another thing. Here we go. Doot, doot, doot. I added a little facial, I added a little more for the whistle. Just like on the show. Just like, doot, doot, doot. It's fun. But anyways, what was I going to mention? Oh yes, but now that we got facial expressions out of the way, it's time for something most of you are probably interested in. How do we do them fancy smoke effects? Well, if you go to the chat, the description at the bottom, in the bottom of the stream. Sorry for stuttering so much. You'll see that I've attached some effect smiles. I cannot English today. I can't speak properly. I am clearly on too much sugar. But anyways, so basically, once you've got MM Effect open, you pull up those files, and they're going to be called Jet Spoke. Like, I've attached the originals too, but I've attached the modified ones that Sodor P himself actually taught me how to fix with. So you can actually get some really dandy smoke effects. So we'll put on a black background up here, so you can kind of recognize where it's going. Look at that smoke. Look at that beautiful smoke. And now she's actually puffing a lot of smoke. Wow, look at it. Look at that smoke. So pretty much, whoops. So what you're going to do is again, pull up our model in the accessory manipulation. Pull up where the funnel location is. With Thomas, it's a bit harder because, Oh, actually, with the newer models, it's not as hard because he's actually labeling them in English, so put it up to how much up on the y-axis you want it to be, or you can just easily switch over to the accessory tab over here. So that way it's like, chuck, choof, 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 however you wish. And let's take a look at them now. Yeah, sometimes the smoke effect can come off a little slow in terms of getting on there, but it's pretty much how it works. Or if you want to spice it up a bit, let me teach you a technique. 2 techniques actually. So you're going to register the size button over here to 0, like for this technique, and then copy a keyframe of the original back in. Using the range select tool over here, so selecting your keyframes ever so carefully. And also switching over to the effect file you're using. or the accessory, whatever object you're using in this area. You're going to be able to shift it over here, and then watch this. Well, you got to pull it up again first. We'll zoom back to show it off a bit better. Oh, actually, yeah, we'll have to zoom it and then register camera movement. Again, registering is very important. And voila! We have something in there. A little rough, but it works. Actually, if you want to, you can experiment with this too. Going back to the original frames, again, sequential. Actually, another important note, make sure to learn about sequences in animation too, or even just basic sequences in terms of editing and timing. You can edit it so if there's a bit more realistic puffing smoke, more realistic breaks, I guess. And we can. I've got three in total down there to experiment with. That was the middle one. Here was the first modification. Whoa! I believe this was a lot larger than I remember setting it up as. But it'll be a good example. That way you can get some nice smoke. But remember, another important tip you're going to need to know: make sure your computer has a lot of available RAM or has a really good graphics card. Otherwise, it will destroy your computer. But anyways, check this out. Now let's edit it a little bit. Let's try a different technique. Size it to 0. Pull it back. Look at that. Well, it doesn't show as much here, but we'll pull it back again. Like we did with the other. But instead of putting it closer, we'll put it back farther apart. And we'll take off the last frame just to be on the fun side. And also take off the 0 here so we can kind of get a bit of a better idea. And that's basically what you need to know in terms of smoke effects and all that. But now I think we can get into some of the tougher stuff in terms of animation. Let's bring in a set. So let's take off the rails. And let's dig us up a good old-fashioned set. I'm feeling lucky. Let's go with a big one. So we're going to be using the Crotoonia Bay Harbor set, aka the largest set I've built yet for the project. I'm not even joking. This is actually the largest thing I've built so far. So we're pulling up the set. I'll also teach you how I set up some sets too. You're gonna scale it up. If you're doing SketchUp, my best advice, if you're working with this kind of gauging, I'll probably attach some tools for that too in SketchUp, some example models, random track pieces and stuff like that. You're going to want to size it up to 1.6 to get it properly to scale with a lot of these models. And we're going to add some shadows to this. Not going to display ground shadow. And better yet, let's add a few other extra things. Let's bring in shaders. So you're going to set as default your shader of choice. For this one, I'm going to go with the one I usually use, which is Serious Shader. And you're going to notice a bit of a difference. Once I actually hit it in. Whoop. And that just happened. So we're going to reset them with the shader. And look at that. It's starting out a lot better now. So now we're going to register camera movement again. Bring down Thomas. Actually, I'll keep the info tab just open too, so you can see how things drop and stuff like that when you bring in a lot more stuff. Bring down Olwen. Actually, we got to move over Olwen now because she's a little too far off the track. line it up, put it in. You gotta play it by eye mostly, but also keep basic calculations in. And for the movement we had, just going to move it over to the original, and then punch in what we had last. So that was set at negative 2240. So punch it into negative 2240. And there we go. Fix Thomas with the same effect. And now they're curious about what wonderment they have found there. Oh, but you've noticed something. The smoke effect is gone. What has happened to the smoke effect? Well, that's because the set's not able to show it. You see, it's overlapping it at that point. So on the original background, it goes like that, but on the set, it vanishes. But that's an easy fix. Just go up to here to Accessories Edit, and move Virginia Bay Harbor up in terms of the order of how it's layered. Layering is also important for animation too. And there we go. The smoke effects returned. But you've noticed something as well. Where's that fancy crane that's there? Where's the water? Where's the sky? Well, we're going to start off with the sky because that's the least that's the least RAM eating thing we're going to have to deal with. Back again to over here. I'll pull up a closing day sky. Actually, better yet, I can also teach you lighting like this too, like the basics you need to know. So we got this in place, and we're going to decide the lighting on how. Whoops, we're inside the building. So we're gonna go with sort of a mix of yellow and blue, not greenish, but kind of an in between. So we're going over to light manipulation. That's obviously too blue, so we're going to, and that's way too dark. That's like a night sky thing. Not quite the best mix. Bit too yellow, so we're going to take off the green a bit. Bit too red. There we go. And we got to change the shadow position too, so you can actually. Oh, also, whenever you're working with like a lot of shadows, be sure to switch over to mode 2 for self shadow manipulation. Then bring it up a bit so you can get a bit more detailed shadows. And now we just got to fix how the lighting is set up. Bring it so it's actually corresponding with the sun. Bring it over. It's obviously a bit of a sunset, but it's not quite as far. Oops. You can kind of see like how it gets less detailed, so that's part of why you ramp it up a little bit. And that looks like it. Oops. Again, shadows can be a bit difficult to work with, so we're going to pull up another effect I've also been experimenting with in a little bit. But it's pretty much corresponding. Now, in terms of getting a better shadow, we're going over to the effects again, but in the other part of my computer. Boop, 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 shaders and effects. Aha, here we go. Excellent shadow. Pull up the first one, excellentshadow.exe. I mean, not excellentshadow.exe. You think this is a good idea? So do I. But also this one over here, xshadow ssao.x. And now we can use the excellent shadow shader, so we can bring it over here. Find excellent shadow over here, or the specific file used for models. So excellent shadow, full es.fx, and look at that, a much better looking shadow. And hey, look at that, it's a lot more real. It's actually holy. I didn't realize how much more realistic it made it look. Wow, look at that beauty. Look at that beauty. I actually gotta use this a lot more. My word, look at this. So now the two friends are looking at the amazing sunset, and you also notice how this 8 GB computer suddenly lost a lot of memory on that one effect. So that's part of why it's not going to be immediate. Like probably going to be like closer to the end of the animation phase. We'll be putting this in. But actually, look at this. I'm actually surprised. I never used it that much. It's It's amazing. And you can also see we've got to move the background up again. Boop. There we go. And there we go. So now we have a basic scene in, and we're at the half-hour point. Now we're going to dive into some really tricky stuff. The curves. So let's see how we got, like, let's bring up a pretty small model that we can bring in. Something like somebody pretty easy to do. So I'm going to bring in Percy. And before I move on to Percy, I'm going to probably check on the chat in a little bit. Just going to stop for a sec to check on things in the chat. My apologies. I hope you guys have been enjoying this so far. Oh, Liz is here. Oh my God, I didn't realize Liz was here. Oh my God. Hi, Liz. Oh, and so apparently someone recreated MMD. Actually, Leo, send me that link. I got to find out what this MMD Thomas thing trains is. Oh, good pizza chosen here. Oh, and Night Train, don't worry. MMD is completely 100% free. It's freeware, as they like to say. Actually, you know what? Since I've, actually, we'll take up, like, going back onto the screen share. We'll take up, maybe we'll leave Percy on the side for later. We got to bring in a certain someone who's also getting her own special. I'm still working on. Don't worry. Gonna put Percy over here to the side, and just for a little bit, we're gonna remove Excellent Shadow just so we can actually get stuff done a little faster. My apologies. The amazing shading will have to wait. See, it's all smooth again. Well, kind of smooth. Still dropped a few frames, but over here we got Percy. And next, we're going to bring up that one little engine that I think could. And also take out Excellent Shadow. Sorry, Excellent Shadow, thank you for your beautiful shading, but we must save you for later. For another day. And now we're back to good frames again. And now to bring up that one little engine that I think people have been waiting for. Tillie. One of the more dynamic models, as I think I've shown you last week. Like, it's pretty much, like, it's a little bit of the same thing with Allwyn, and you kind of get the basic idea with a lot of the bones here. You got the piston bone for movement, head bones, eye bones, smoke effect bones, whistle bone, wheel bone. But for this one, we're not going to work with wheel bone, because our main focus is getting Tillie onto the other siding that Percy's on. So we're going to start it off where the other switch is going to end. Let's go with 120. Twice the length of our other friends over here. So we've already got where the point. So we've got a decent idea of where the points over there end, or somewhere around there. So we're going to back it up a little bit. Then we're going to line Tillie up with the bone with over there. I mean, with the end of the track over there. But watch what happens when we animate her, or put her in motion. She doesn't ride the curve, and she faces through Thomas. Well, the camera faces through Thomas. Well, this is where the time-consuming stuff comes in. So pretty much you're going to eyeball a lot of this. Some of it is pretty easy with math, but pretty much what you're going to do is make sure you get her as close to the track as possible, while also not making her look off in terms of like going around the curve. Boop. So 60 is like our halfway point, so put her around here. Watch the axis too, make sure it's on local so you can actually see what you're doing. And from there on in, it gets a bit easier. Whoop, going through the smokestack, or the funnel, depending on which term you want to use. Some of it's a bit hard to do, again, like kind of getting everything precise. But it comes a bit easier with time, even if it's extremely, excruciatingly time-consuming. So it's getting better. Make sure to keep midpoint. Make sure where your midpoints are again, like in terms of keyframes, so you actually know what you're doing. And like you can make it a bit easier so you can kind of go in between there. This one's a bit harder because we have in between, but it's still fixable. There we go. Still a little bit to do. Got to fix that first curve again. So let's, oh, well, obviously there's still a little bit of work to do, and you can kind of see why these take a long time besides all the other stuff like lip sync and all that. I'm not going to go over stuff like lip sync tonight because there's a lot of other MMD tutorials that can teach you that kind of stuff, and again, animation provides it a lot. But this is pretty much mostly working with like comma stuff, or like the trains. So let's see how she looks. It looks a bit better. Could be worked on, but it's good for an example. All right, so that's some curve animation done. I guess if we want to, we could also experiment with shunting. Good thing we kept Percy here. So we're going to copy Percy. We're going to fetch some troublesome trucks. Yay! Let's bring in a bit of a mixed bag. Start off with a good old-fashioned Season 1 troublesome truck. AKA the ones that all look like Annie and kind of look terrible. Oh my god, why do they think this is a good idea? Like, it's just like, you could, like in the actual episodes, you could barely see the mouth there. At least it's prominent here. Next, we're going to bring up another troublesome truck. A modern one, as we'll say. And you can change the faces on these ones too. Hey, look, an ARC Productions one. So there's a bunch you can work with. Let's see what we can find. Oh, that one's missing. That one's grumpy. That one's there. It's okay. We'll use that for another one. There's another truck. There's the generic one, the one you see on the wooden rail models. It's the creepy one that sometimes has eyes, sometimes doesn't. Hey, look, it's Train Boy 7. Let's go with that one. So here we got these three lovely trucks, all waiting to, or freight cars, foolish freight cars, depending on your terminology yet again. But the UK is better. Use the original UK ones. Well, not all American children are going to know what a truck is besides the juggernauts, you know, if you catch my cold. But anyways, so Percy's going to try and biff these cars, I guess. So position to 300. We'll get the distance where Percy's going to bump them. And then, how do we not get the trucks to face Percy? We're going to find the point where Percy bumps the cars. Register that, and register that with the trucks too. Then at 300, we're going to see how it goes from there. 300 keyframe. And you can do this any way you want, just depending on if you know your calculations well. You can have them fly down the line. You could have them just kind of weasel over. Or just do what I'm doing and basically just go along with Percy as he's shunting them. So let's see what's happened to our wagons now and see if they're properly synced up. Okay, so we see the one is phasing with Percy. Let's see how we can fix that. Just go over it again, see where things went a bit haywire. Okay, so not the best start for the truck. Most likely due to how it's set up, not just following Percy. So. But yeah, we can see how the interpolation curve is set up. We'll set this as linear just to save us some trouble. See if it's any better. Well, it works a bit better, but still struggling a bit. So if that gets a bit too troubling for you, we've got two options you can do. One is to pull this trick with your center bone we mentioned earlier, the alternative one. Place it in here, but then register the center bone here. Then set it up how you would have liked it to be set up before. Register, copy that. Copy that. Bring it around town. And then do the same with this truck. Okay, so it's still struggling a bit. We can even fix this. See where it compresses the most. And then back them off like so. Doesn't have to be 100% perfect for your first try, but you learn a bit more about it when you do it a lot more like I have. Like pretty much I self-taught myself. I didn't look at a lot of tutorials and stuff. I just looked at really basic tutorials, just like, oh, this is basically how you do the stuff. And that was about it. So let's see how our cars are being shunted. Boop. So a little better. Could use some work, but that's good. But let's say you want them to fly down the track. That's really simple. Bring them over here. Bring one over here. Like this isn't going to be 100% perfect, but you get an idea. Backing it up, backing it up, backing it up. Okay, that's a little farther than I was expecting. Up, 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 up. Actually, we can fool around with this too. Again, matter of precision. There's also an option so you can, like there's also buffers that can compress or decompress, but we're not going to focus quite as much on that today. Again, that's stuff that's pretty easy to learn in your free time. Take off the model camera for a bit. See how it looks. Okay, not 100% perfect, but you get the idea. And with that out of the way, let's see how our scene looks right now. So we've got basic wheel movement, understanding of facial expressions, smoke effects, curves, and shunting, like pretty much. Some basic animation principles and also basic things you'll need to know for your animations. Oh, and also for wheel movement. For this last part, is there anything else you got? Like we've got 15 minutes to go before the hour-long slot goes up. So, is there anything you guys wanted to look at? Just gonna stop the screen sharing for a moment. Okay, someone really wants to see a truck fall into the sea. And I apologize for the Shed 17 mentions, by the way. I'm sorry. Oh, actually, yeah. Maybe we could go over some of the road characters. They've got some... Like, maybe we'll do a truck in the sea, maybe. Also, 9 viewers. Oh, boy. A bit, like, 10 viewers. A bit of a drop from our last one, but it's okay. Not meant to be sort of a huge stream. And also not the best scheduled, so we'll pull up... Well, actually, yeah, I guess we'll... You know what? Just for the fun of it, let's do a truck in the sea. See where I put them. Aha! And just to warn you, in terms of effects, water is going to be your nightmare fuel for the week. It is the most RAM-consuming thing you could possibly use. It uses a lot of memory. You just see that frame drop, and there goes a wave. So there we go. Got the sea set up. And I wonder what's going to happen. That truck. We're going to make a truck go into the sea. In the sea that is overflowing the dock. Oh no. Oh no. Sploosh. The truck is in the sea. Farewell, dear truck. We won't let go. And then it... Alright, that was a pretty lame joke, but in all seriousness, let's go to the Bub the Builder characters. And yes, there is some Meet the Crotoonians planned for them. We just haven't gotten around to writing them yet. Let's go with Scoop, since he's a fun character to work with in terms of, like, mechanics. Though he does need a little bit of repairs done. Here it is. Here's Scoop. And he's actually a pretty dynamic model when you get down to him. I think he's one of the most fun models. So that's going to be, like, he's going to be one of the most fun models to animate, because he's got, like, his front bucket, and there's, like, his rear digger. Like, that digger can swoosh around. You've got the stabilizers, then go whoop. Whoops, wrong way. It's a fun model to work with, but let's do like a basic animation with Scoop. So we're gonna have him with this amazed crowd looking at what's beyond the sunrise. We're going to have him raise his bucket and then move forward. So raise his bucket first. Throw in a bit of impact. Whoops. Impact's also kind of hard to do in terms of animation sometimes, so keep that in mind too. Again, it's something you learn a little bit as you go along. Speed it up a little bit. Bring in his other bucket. Like bringing his Scoop up. Scoop, scoop. Then we're going to have him drive over, and this is where we can play around with his other parts, pretty much. So, 3 seconds. And now we're going to play with his parts. Oh, yeah. No, no, no. I am so sorry for that joke taking that route. Oh, no. I'm going to bring in his wheels. Make a move. Again, watch how the wheels are set up. For the road vehicles, it's more of a free-for-all, I guess you could say. Still got a little bit to go. Gonna start slowing them down a bit here. See how far it was apart that last time. Bring the 180 here. Let's see how it looks so far. Let's give him a bit of a jump start, let's say, for his movement. So we're going to bring his center bone up. Put him down. Whoops. Put him down on the x-axis a little bit. Sync up his traction wheels, or drive wheels, depending on what you like to call them. Bring up his steering wheels. I mean, axles, like steering axles. Pretty much set up like the original puppet on the show. Then we're going to do a reverse. So it's got a bit of impact, like a jump, like how you set up an elastic band, pretty much, just like boing. So like this. No, let's throw a bit of motion for his wheels. I mean, his rear bucket, too. Animated a bit like in the show. So when he goes off, it goes like this. Oops, that's not how we want it. Bring in a bit of pullback, let's say. And now let's see how it's set up. Actually, also throw in a bit of, like, kind of like an impact shake here. Like just so it kind of has more of, like a bit more realism. Anyway, again, very rough, but you get the idea. Let's open his bucket around here, like the front of his scoop, the sort of grabber thing he's got, or cover, whatever you'd like to call it. And at the end here, let's have him drop it. We'll reset the bucket. Whoops, wrong one. We'll reset his bucket here too. Whoops. Paste. Copy. And paste. Oh no, certainly don't forget to save your work. Also, if you want to get rid of that sort of black outline he's got, like some of these models have, very simple. Thickness of edge line down at view, pull to 0, and voila. And we'll do the same with Olin. And there goes my dog. So let's see how it's set up. Oh, and there goes part of the set. And now that everything's set up, we can do the final touches, and good too, because we got 5 minutes left in the stream. So we'll put in smoke effects for everybody else. Start with, oops, wrong one. Smoke. Aha!
Bring in one for Tillie. Change up the order a bit. Bring in one for Percy. There we go. See how that all looks? Slowing down a bit, as you can see. Register the frame. And lastly, now you can put on the excellent shadow so it looks all beautiful. So render everything that is in jet smoke over here. Go over to the excellent shadow area or folder, whatever you wish to call it. Look at that, all beautifully rendered, and let's see how it looks. What a wonder. And I think I pretty much summed up the... Oh, one more important thing. Don't forget to save. Which I already did, so this was kind of pointless, but still, don't forget to save. So I think that's pretty much the basics I gotta give you guys. We got 2 minutes left. If there's anything you guys want me to talk about, let me know right now. And we'll see about Puffa. I don't have a model of him ready yet. All in due time. Actually, yeah, one more important tutorial. I'll add in a couple of minutes because I really got to discuss this because I know a lot of people have problems with this. So one of the things you're going to need to know is that your models don't always work when you first open them. It's just like, oh, what's this? Where's all the textures gone? So I'm about to teach you how to fix those textures. Just got to pull the program up. This is a program that I've attached in the description called PMX Editor. It will save you a lot of time, though it's going to take quite a bit of time to get it all sorted out. So after you download the program and after you get through the millions of notifications you got to get through, if it says if there's a million messages that say could not load file or assembly, whatever, just click OK on all of those. The program still works despite that. It works perfectly fine. And you hear me madly tapping my mouse on the keyboard. So let's see a model that I can fix up. Let's see a basic one. Okay. Actually, I can download him on. Actually, download it on here because I haven't got him on yet. So I'm going to download Harold from the site that the file sharing link from the guy who does a lot of these cool models. I'll even screen share you the page because he's like one of the guys who does a lot of those really cool Thomas models. They're like absolutely awesome. Breakdown train we don't have to worry about. I've already got that on. But Harold is okay. His pilot is not. So we're going to download Harold. And after Harold is opened, you're going to open up his folder. And then after that, you're going to open a little something called, just gotta pull up the dramatic reveal, PMX Editor. Actually, I'm probably gonna have to share my whole screen at this point because it's a bit hard to do it like this. So here's my studio. Woo, look at those cool radical effects. But here we go. We have PMX Editor. We are going to open up Harold. Put him in the folder with the other models. Open models, and he should be around here somewhere. Check the file name. Yep, Harold should be right here. Harold. Harold's got his textures all set up pretty much. However, when you open up his pilot, you will notice something. He has no textures. But that's an easy fix. Go over to material, or where material should be. You'll notice that, like the original file names in there. Go over to where your Herald model is located. Go to where the pilot is. And you've got all the textures right there. And what we need to do now is rename them. So let's go over to our handy-dandy Google Translate to save us from this one. Detect language. Pilot uniform 2. So we're going to find his uniform is actually right here. And that's where the material goes. And when we go to the next material, things should slowly but surely start coming in. It gets really easy after a while. Like, believe me on this. So that's number 1 for his head textures. I believe this should be number 2. Yes, it is indeed number 2. One I believe is part of the uniform. Again, it comes, like, it gets really, really stupidly easy after you've pretty much figured it all out. And last texture should go in. Right around here. So let's take a look at them now. I'm not sure if it'll show up right now. Well, it doesn't show up right now, but when you open them on MMD, okay, that's gonna need a bit of work. I just realized. And make sure I put in. I'm pretty sure everything's in right. Oh, I think I might know what part of it is. Okay, we might need a bit of time on this one. I just realized. Everything was in correctly, so... Or should be incorrectly. Application right there. I'm actually kind of concerned why his thing is not there yet. I'm just going to stop screen sharing for a sec. And yes, Puffa is... We'll see about Puffa. Calm down, please. I beg of thee. I'm sorry to be like that. Just please. Puffa is considered. We don't have a model of him yet. Just, please. Thank you. Making sure I got all the file name translations correct. They seem to be correct. Maybe I opened the wrong thing. And yes, please, I'd hate to be that guy, but... Oh, by the way, yeah, like, before I say this, yes, Bob is actually going to be in Crotoonia. We've even gotten we actually recently got a model commissioned for him. I'll post the link to the commissioner in the chat, probably, or the description. Whenever she's making good progress on it already, but nothing yet. And yes, stop keyboard excuse, but please... For the love of heaven, do not ask me when Tillie to the Rescue is coming out. I know you guys are very patient, been very, very patient about it, or very excited about it, but this stuff takes time, and it's going to take a bit more time to get finished, so... Yeah, just please don't ask. I kind of want to get this done in peace. And I don't need constant barraging about it. See, I'm still trying to figure out the pilot problem, but I guess while I'm fixing this up, just post any, like, if you guys have any questions or comments about Crotoonia right now, or like that aren't just when's it coming out, just list it right in the chat right now. I'm free for any form of questions. Just figuring this out still. I don't know why it's like this. You know what? I might have to try something. I'm going to rename the files to English, so I'm going to pull up screen share once again. Minimize that. So I'm going to rename some of these to English now. And we're going to rename their location in like the original program as such. If this doesn't work, well, I'm not like this is essentially how it's supposed to work, but it's clearly being a bit stubborn tonight, so see what that translates out to. Pocket. I don't remember a pocket one. And no texture still on him. This is actually, see if any of them pop up at this point. And okay, I'm probably gonna have to. Well, again, this is what typically works, but clearly this is being stubborn tonight, so it doesn't appear to be working. Nitrate, I haven't seen your channel, I'm afraid, so I'll have to take a look, give my brief thoughts. What's my favorite MMD model? There's a few I like, even though I do feel he needs a bit of updating. Diesel 10 is probably one of my favorites to animate, even though I don't use him as much as I'd like to. He's a very dynamic model, very fun to work with, especially with the grabber. But there's a lot of fun ones to work with, pretty much. Like, I don't choose favorites, though. Diesel 10 again is probably the most fun to work with. But I think of what else to bring up. When did you start doing computer animation instead of doing the model animation? Model animation, I never had quite the skill for it. I didn't have and eventually lost space when we turned the basement from an average unfinished basement to an actual rec room. So I pretty much lost space for that. I think I started doing MMD around September 2013 in grade 9. Let's see. What do you plan to make any characters? Sorry, I'm not. I don't I'll be very honest. I don't know that much about Mixel, so nor do I watch it as much. So I'm afraid they're not going to be in Crotoonia anytime soon. My apologies. What Bob the Builder characters do you have on MMD? I've got the main 5 plus Packer, Gripper and Grabber, and Skip. Trix is a work in progress right now. We're gonna get her started soon. and I'm planning to make 2-ton. I've got a few others in mind, but nothing too far ahead yet. Can't seem to find this Nitrain guy's channel. Nitrain's channel, so I'll have to go away from Google search and actually go onto the site itself. Channel. Here we go. So let's see what this Nitrain channel is. Put my headphones. Okay. It's an okay mini video. Oh, nice. Oh, I remember the bonus packs. Holy crap. That was actually... this is something that needs to be brought back, to be honest. I also miss those little pamphlets too. I think only the specials do that. So you guys can hear me. Yeah, books. Hey, that actually looks pretty decent. Oh, it's a mini Glen. Oh, this is actually... Some of these are actually pretty cool. Oh, it's like Knapford. Check out this test. Decent paper model. Well, it's a good start. I definitely keep focus on what I would recommend is keep focusing on growing your content a little bit. Try a bit of variety on there. So you've got a good start, man. Some pretty cool stuff on there. Just again, focus a little bit on working on editing and stuff like that. That's my recommendation. Oh, that was Vicarstown. Oh, my apologies. Yeah. It's a good start. So I think I've pretty much covered all that I've needed to. Is there anything else you guys want me to cover before I go? Because I've got I can spare a couple more minutes. Will Thomas have an arc in the future? Are you talking about character arc or story arc? I'm not too certain. Are you talking arc productions? Perhaps? Maybe? I'm not too sure. I think I've seen your channel before, New Storyteller. It's okay. You've got some okay content on there. None too bad. Just keep in mind though, I will say this, while I'm more than happy to check out channels, don't always post in comments and stuff oh, what do you think of my channel? It's all right in streams, I guess, whenever there's free time. Just keep in mind for comments on my videos. Don't do that. And yes, as Caleb has said, Tillie is indeed the star of the next episode. We've already gotten some of the lines most of the lines recorded actually. Boris Fangirl voices Tillie in this one, as she does in the special and other episodes. She did an amazing job. Fantastic woman to work with. Very sweet. Where do babies come from? Where do train babies come from? They're built in a workshop, like all the other trains. Yes. Oh, I guess. Oh, it was a pun. Oh, yeah, it was a pun. I guess I literally flew over my head, just whoosh, like Jet's rocket. But anyways, I guess I think I've covered everything I needed to, and I guess that's the conclusion of my stream, my part workshop stream, part let's see other stuff stream. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you all enjoyed this little tutorial of MMD, and all that. And if you do want to audition for voice roles, by the way, be sure to contact me, like send me a message through my channel, or send me through my email down on the channel about section, themilantooner@gmail.com. I think we've covered all that we've needed to, so thank you again for joining. I'm not sure when my next stream will be. I'll probably do a donate. I'll probably make the next one the Pooh's Adventure stream. That's going to be fun. And I might partially make it a donation stream. Like it's not like money isn't something like right now I'm like, oh, I really need it. I need to get through college and then like all that. It's just like I am starting to commission people for Crotoonia stuff though, like music, models, services, all that stuff. So I might do the next one as a bit of a donation stream because we've got like actually right in the description we've got a PayPal set up. Like I've got a PayPal donation button set up. So if you want to leave $1 or $2 down there, perfectly fine. But anyways, I'm out for tonight. Thank you guys for watching, and see you on the next one. Farewell.